Go. We were pretty down on our team, but guess what? We are in the playoffs officially. So love to be able to see Santa Herbert bring us to the playoffs. Exciting. Looking forward to it. Great that we locked in at week 16, by the way. But let's get into it and talk a little bit about some scenarios where we might be able to even get to the fifth seed. So hang tight, guys. Let's talk about it. Bolt Bros, let's go. That's right. We are in the playoffs. We're currently in the sixth seed, guys. So exciting. Love to be able to be in the playoffs. Love to be able to see what Herbert could do and see if Santa Herbert could keep bringing us these gifts going into the playoffs. So looking forward to it, but exciting times for us, guys. First time in the playoffs since 2018. We did beat the Ravens during that time, away game, and then ended up losing to the Patriots the next following game. Those dreaded Patriots, for some reason, they always got our number. But either way, I wanted to talk about just kind of scenarios of what potentially could happen to be able to get to the fifth seed for us, and also some history lesson too in a wild card team in the playoffs. So let's get into that, guys. So let's talk about, just show you off what the current playoff picture looks like, and go from there. So bottom line right now, well, we got Bills in the number one seed right now. They're playing the Bengals this weekend. Big game for them, for the Bengals specifically. I mean, if you really look at that, that could be major right there, guys. By the way, that could really push Bengals potentially to the 1 or to the 3. I'm not sure of the tie clinching situations there, but it all depends on conference and divisional records at that point too. So we'll see kind of where that one pans out, but that's a big game. Doesn't really affect us too much outside of the fact of, for the Ravens, if they would jump up to the 3, or they would go, or the Bengals would potentially go down to the fifth seed. So kind of an interesting one there, guys. Chiefs Broncos. So yeah, they're going to have a field day with the Broncos. They're probably going to win that game, but so going back to the fifth seed here, with the Bengals, or excuse me, with the Ravens, it's an interesting thing because we really don't know exactly which way we should really go on this, because it's kind of going to really depend on what's going on with that week 17 matchup with the Bills Bengals. I don't know which one you guys would want for it to happen here. Do you want the Ravens to go into the division leading, or do you want to be able to have the Bengals go down to the wild card? Who knows? I mean, I think either which way, matchups are pretty well for us, in my opinion, if we stay at where we're at with the 6 seed. But either way, which one would you like? I mean, personally, I feel the Ravens would actually be a really easy matchup for us. Bengals would be a little bit more tougher some sense, but they have lost a lot of their O-line recently too. So they are starting to have some injuries at the wrong time of the year. So it's going to be interesting. That Bills Bengals game could be an interesting one to watch, for us. Now, the 4th seed is an interesting one. Now, we're sitting in the 6th, obviously, but the 4th one is interesting because the Jaguars are sitting in the 4th right now, essentially tied with the Titans right now. The thing about them, and we'll go over their schedules too, because the thing about them is that they are essentially tied right now, and then they end the season playing against the Titans. So really, this game doesn't really mean too much to either team, win or loss. It doesn't really matter. But at the same side, next week we'll decide everything for that division. So wild to even say that. I'm going to ask a question to you guys. I think the playoffs should change the format to where it's based upon not division, but based upon record and how it's seeded. Personally, I feel that's the way it should be. I don't think a team that should be a 9-8 team should have a division win, and a division home, or a home game for the playoffs. I think it should just be based upon top 4 teams that are top 4 records. Those are the ones that should get home games, in my opinion. But hey, that's me. That's what I think. I'm just a lowly man here doing a podcast on the Chargers and talking about football. So that's something that I think we should be there. I would love it to hear your guys' opinion on that. 7th seed Dolphins. They are essentially 2 games back from us because we own the tiebreaker between them. They're at 8-7 playing the Patriots. Major game for the Patriots. Major game for the Dolphins. The Patriots are right there behind them. So Dolphins have to win this game to keep their playoff hopes alive, in my opinion. 100% have got to win this weekend against the Patriots. Now, once again, this is in New England too. So it is cold out there, and we all know what's going on with the weather right now. That's going to be a big game for the Dolphins. They have to find a way to close it out. Now, then you also have the Jets who are playing the Seahawks, 7-8 record. I think that there's a very big uphill battle with them with these two teams in front of them with the Dolphins and the Patriots. So I'm not going to talk too much about the Jets or anything too. You go obviously with the Titans. We chatted about them. They're sitting in the 10th seed. Basically, if they win 2 games in a row, one and say the Jags lose, that's going to be an interesting thing to be able to see how that division pans out. But basically, they have to go at least 500. And really, ultimately, they should just need to be able to beat the Jags to be able to jump into the 4th seed. But that last game, week 18 game, is critical for that division. I mean, this week will not decide that division by any means. And then the Steelers, they're basically playing against the Ravens this weekend. It's a very big uphill battle with them. Very, very short amount of ability to be able to find a way to the playoffs. But they are sitting there, ironically. It would be a big win for them to beat the Ravens, by the way, to be able to keep their chances alive. So that's kind of where the playoff picture is at the moment, guys. Let's just jump into a couple of the schedules. Let's just talk about the Chargers schedule first off, because obviously we love to talk about the Chargers here. So the schedule is pretty simple for us. We are in regardless. We are minimum at the 7th seed, but we basically have the Rams and the Broncos to end the season out. The Rams game got shifted from Sunday night because obviously the matchup really doesn't have much playoff implications at all by any means. So either way, the one thing, my goal for the Chargers, I want them to go to 11-6. Major win for them to go 11-6 with all the injuries that they've had this season. Major for them. So I just want them to win out at this point. All these games really don't mean much, but just I would love to be able to see them go 11-6 bottom line. So just going to just throw that out there, guys. That's what I want to see. So let's go ahead and just go to the next team. Let's talk about the Ravens here, guys. And, talk about where they're kind of sitting at now. It's an interesting situation with them. They are 1 game back from the Bengals. They are playing the Steelers this weekend. Steelers are trying to find a way to be able to stay in the playoff race. Thank you, Steelers, by the way, for beating the Raiders at the last minute. That was major. I was excited about that. That helped the Chargers clinch for Monday night against the Colts. So bottom line, guys, this is kind of where it's at. Ravens are playing the Steelers this weekend. Big game for them. Sunday night football for them. They took the position there. That's a big game for playoffs for both of these teams. It's to keep the Steelers alive and for the Ravens to be able to keep pace with the Bengals too, or at least keep it close, because guess what? They end the season against the Bengals. Big game for them. That could be the division deciding game. Ravens really have to win to be able to even make that a chance. They lose, Chargers win, we jump to the 5th seed at this point, guys. So that's big. But the thing is, the Bengals are also playing the Bills. It gets hard for them, guys. It gets hard for them. It's very, very difficult for them. Not going to talk about the Bengals too much because we already know that their last game is against the Ravens. So huge game for them, bottom line. So they realistically could both lose this weekend, Bengals and Ravens. And then this game is massive for the division at that point. So I'm sure that'll be a Sunday night game for that game, if that ends up being that way. So big game for them, bottom line. So my thoughts is I want the Steelers to win. And that would allow us, if we beat the Rams this weekend, to be able to jump into the 5th seed. So big game for that for us. And I would love to be able to get in that 5th seed just because it would position us to play the 4th seed at that point. So either way, big game for them. Biggest game, I would say, for this weekend. So let's go ahead and go talk a little bit about, let's go with the Dolphins. I know we chatted about these guys just briefly, but they are in the 7th seed right now. They play the Patriots. Once again, massive game there, guys. The Patriots are going to play the Dolphins. Patriots are just behind them at the 8th seed right now. Patriots have got to win this game. Now, like I said, Dolphins are playing out in New England. It is cold out there, man. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes for them. I mean, I'll say just a quick look at, the weather out in New England area. Man, was it Foxborough, right? Foxborough. Let's see about this weather here. Oof. Currently, it looks like to be for 50 degrees and rainy, give or take. So 49, 50-ish. So it'll be pretty cold out there. It's not as bad as I was thinking. So there's a little bit of a bone thrown over to the Dolphins on that one to not make it that bad of a situation. Now they just have to get the run game going. That's the big thing for them. If it's going to be a big downpour, the passing game is going to be tough for them. And that's a big part of the Dolphins offense is the pass game. So either way, that's going to be an interesting one for us to watch. Just keep an eye on, see where they're going to battle out for the 7th seed. We own the tiebreaker versus the Dolphins. So in a way, I wouldn't mind to be able to just see the Patriots win, but I kind of don't think that's going to happen. But who knows? Either way, doesn't affect us too much. Bottom line, reason why I'd want the Patriots to win is it just makes sure and solidifies our seeding in the playoffs, at least at the 6th seed at that point. So either way, guys, that's kind of where it's at with that. With a win over the Rams, that'll basically solidify us at least in the 6th seed. So let's go on and move on to the Patriots real quick. With the Patriots, obviously we just chatted about kind of them playing the Dolphins this weekend, but they are going to play the Bills to end the season. Now, once again, at this point, the Bills could actually line up and at least lock up the 1 seed for the playoffs by that time. Actually, probably won't work now thinking about it. The Chiefs are playing the Broncos this weekend. Probably not going to happen. But the thing about it is the Patriots are fighting for the life. Their big game is this weekend against the Dolphins Patriots just to keep pace. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to be able to beat the Bills at that point. The Bills will still have to keep playing just for the fact of trying to keep that wild card, or excuse me, keep that number 1 seed because the Chiefs are going to be right there behind them. So they have got to win out for the season to be able to keep any pace by any means in the playoffs. So that's the schedule with them. And then let's go back to the Jags Titans, guys, because this one is the interesting playoff race right now because they are essentially the game this weekend doesn't really mean anything. If they win or lose, it doesn't really matter. There's a conference record, division record in this point. It doesn't matter if the Jaguars win or lose this weekend. It basically does matter that I would say if whoever is the team that wins the next 2 games is going to take the division at this point. And now if you're going to look at the trajectory of these teams, well, it's probably going to be the Jaguars at this point because just for the simple fact that they are playing way better football all around. So bottom line, that's an interesting one to watch. I would say this could be another game that could get flexed and probably will get flexed either a Sunday night or some sort of primetime slot or whatnot, just because the simple fact that is going to decide the 4th seed and the division winner for the AFC South. So big game for them. This weekend doesn't matter either which way, win or lose, it doesn't matter. They basically have to go a 500 point. If they do go 500, say for instance the Jaguars lose and then they end up beating the Titans, well, they own the tiebreaker right now to the Titans, so they will win the division. If the Titans lose this weekend, it doesn't really matter. The Jaguars still will be ahead. The Jaguars lose, obviously the Jaguars will still be ahead. If the Titans do win this weekend, the Jaguars lose, that means that the Titans would be in there, but they would have to go and win against the Jaguars. So it's an interesting scenario for that division. It's all about just basically trying to win out the season, in my opinion. That's what the Jaguars have to do. That's what the Titans have got to do. The unfortunate thing is, though, they are going to play head-to-head to end the season. It's like the NFL designed this to happen, guys, by the way. So, and once again, the Titans are, just to show the schedule off for the Titans, they are playing the Cowboys this weekend. Hard game for them. Sunday night football for them. This is going to be Thursday night football. I apologize. So we will know kind of where they were sitting at for this game. So big game for the Titans. They have to find a way to be able to get that offense going. They do not have Ryan Tannehill. They're going to go with Malik Willis, obviously, for the rest of the season. So they have been battered as a team. Now, once again, guys, this is a great example. A team that has had a lot of injuries. Chargers have had a lot of injuries. And guess what, guys? We are in the playoffs. We have a chance to go 11-6 with all the injuries that we've had. Big thing about it is coming into the playoffs healthy. Bottom line, momentum is huge. Health is massive to be able to go in the playoffs here, guys. So that's a great example of a team that just imploded based upon a lot of injuries. And so, once again, guys, the big game for them is Titan Jaguars ending the season, probably Sunday Night Football of some sort. It's going to be some prime time somewhere. But either way, that's kind of what it was, guys. I wanted to just throw something out there just because I like looking at history and history of NFL. And let's talk a little bit about players or teams that have gone from wild card to Super Bowl win kind of thing here. And now, once again, I'm getting way ahead of myself here, guys. But at the same side, I like looking at history here. I like to be able to kind of look and see kind of what history does provide for us because it kind of gives us a glimpse of our chances of, hey, as a wild card team, have we ever won the Super Bowl? And there is about the teams that have done it. Sorry, guys, these ads are just popping up like crazy over here, guys. All right, let's get it out of here. So, how many wild card teams have won the Super Bowl? Bottom line, guys. So, since the wild card system has been instituted in the NFL in 1970, only 7 wild card teams have won the Lombardi. Oakland Raiders 81, Broncos 98, Ravens 01, Steelers 06, Giants 08, Packers 2011, Bucks 2020. So there was also 4 of the teams that as wild cards that actually got to the Super Bowl. 76 Dolphins, or excuse me, 76 Cowboys, 86 Patriots, 93 Bills, and the Titans of 2000. So there's not a ton of them here that have got there. But remember this Giants team. I believe this is the Giants team that went 9-7, barely got in, ended up beating the Patriots on their undefeated season with the last 30 seconds of the game. Big game here. Steelers beat the Cardinals in the Super Bowl. That was massive. I remember that one very, very distinctly. So in the Packers 2011 and the Buccaneers 2020, I wanted to talk about those 2 teams, the Packers 2011 and the Buccaneers 2020 here, guys, because there is a lot to kind of understand about this team and understanding that they rode. But I'll probably say with all those other teams, they probably have had kind of similar roads to where we're at. And not having obviously winning the division, they probably had around the same type of schedule as, or actually record as us. So either way, it's just something I like to look at here, guys. This is just a thought, kind of bringing up the Packers because it was Aether, one of our followers, brought them up saying, hey, look, they were a wild card team and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. So that's something that you got to think about here. There is a team that was at, and I'm going to go just to their records here, guys, that they ended up having a struggle to be able to get through the season and found a way to be able to get hot at the right time. So here we go. Here's regular season here for them. So 2-0, 2-1, 3-2, went with their bye at 6-3. Then they ended up having a little bit of a falter at that point. So after the bye, 7-3, got the win out of by the Vikings, ended up losing to the Falcons, lost or beat the Niners, lost to the Lions, 7-3. My gosh, what a game that was! Holy smokes! And then lost to the Patriots, 8-6. And then they ended up winning, getting 9-6. That's sitting where we're at right now. They ended up getting in with the 10-6 win over the Chicago Bears. The thing about them, and then after that point, what did they do? They ended up going to the Super Bowl at that point. Let's see if I think they believe that this ended up talking about the playoffs here from this point. So they basically needed the win to beat the Giants to be able to clinch the 6th and final wild card seed. Now, this is when it was a 6th seed based wild card. So, hey, they got in. That's all that matters. I've always said it a lot of times. Just get a ticket to get to the show, guys. And that once you're in the show, there's records do not matter at that point. So they obviously are playing on the road at this point, guys. So they played 3 road games here against the Eagles, beat them, destroyed the Falcons 48-21, a little bit of a redemption game there for them. Then they beat the Bears in Chicago. Man, Rodgers just owns the Bears, like he said, 21-14 at that point for that NFC Championship game to be able to go to the Super Bowl and to beat the Steelers and win the Super Bowl, guys. Now, I'm just putting good vibes out there, guys. This is a scenario here. 2010 Patriots did it. There is a road there. It's about momentum. It's about getting hot. Look, they won 4 games in a row in the postseason just after winning 2 games to end the season there, guys. So there is that idea that it's momentum carries a lot, guys. So they won 6 games in a row to win it. Can the Chargers do that? Hey, we will see. That's something to be determined down the road. I know all these Raider trolls. We're coming back. They'll probably watch this video. They'll probably start just jumping all over us. You can't do this. You can't do that. Hey, guys, we're in. You aren't. Sit at home. Enjoy your couch, guys. Enjoy your off season. Enjoy your Hall of Fame quarterback, Derek Carr. Ooh, yeah, he's really scary, guys. Anyways, FTR, family, trust, respect all the time around here, guys. And then let's talk about more recently. Once again, the Tom Brady 2020 Bucks. They were a wild card team. Crazy. They were second at 11-5. See, I want the Chargers to get to 11-6. I want this momentum to keep carrying, guys. I mean, we are on good vibe on our team right now. Last 3 games we have won. We have done a great job on our defense. Yesterday, we chatted a lot about kind of the defensive stats and where we have been in the last 3 weeks. We have been phenomenal as a team. Offensively, we have to get better. We have got to get better. But defensively, we have really stepped up. Shout out to Brandon Staley big time on that. He's done a great job of really changing up this defense, simplifying it, and making it a very, very sustainable system at this point. That actually looks phenomenal all around. So let's talk about the Bucks and kind of see where they were at. So let's talk about their season schedule here, guys. So let's see here. We got week 1. They ended up playing the Saints, losing starting out. They were at about a 7-5 position with losing going into the bye, 8-5. So after the bye is the big thing, 7-5. We were at that point, guys. Remember where we were sitting at. We found a new gear with this team. After that Raider loss, I mean, that was kind of getting bleak there for us, in my opinion. I mean, it was getting tough for us. We were at a 30% chance at that point. Guess what? A couple weeks down the road, guess what? We have locked in our slot. So either way, I wanted to emphasize, it's about getting hot, guys. It's about getting hot at this point. Look, after the bye, what did they do? Tom Brady went Tom Brady. Win, 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 win. 1 out all the way from that point on. 3 road games. They beat the Washington football team. That's a very good route to go through, by the way. Saints found a way to beat them. Then the Packers beat them too. Once again, the Saints win was, I believe, a collapse by the Saints, a Sean Payton head coached team, by the way. So remember that one, guys. And then the Packers beating the Packers once again in the NFC Championship game to be able to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So, guys, the road is there. History does show that there are teams that have found ways to be able to win the Super Bowl. I just wanted to be able to emphasize that just because, hey, it's about getting a ticket to the show. That's all that matters at this point. Just get a ticket to the show. That's all that matters. Records don't matter at that point, guys. It's about momentum. It's about health. We are getting extremely healthy. It sounds like Joey Bosa is going to come back this week for practice. Who knows if we'll play this week or play next week, but it'd be great to be able to get his legs going. Rashawn Slater, there's talks about him coming back for the playoffs. Will he start next week or will he practice this week? Who knows? But I think they do open up the window here pretty soon for him, and that would be major for us. Hopefully, Rashawn Slater will be ready to go, stabilize that O-line a little bit further for us, and make us look a little bit more stronger on our O-line. But bottom line, guys, I'm just emphasizing, history does tell us that wildcard teams can get to the Super Bowl. It's about being hot. It's about being healthy. I'm excited about it because I'm excited to be able to see the Chargers go. I'm excited for Justin Herbert to be in the playoffs. I'm excited to be able to see that. Last year, I felt it was criminal to not have Justin Herbert in the playoffs. Now, we have Brandon Staley, first time in the playoffs. Will Big Boss Staley show up at that time? That's something we're going to figure out. But bottom line, guys, we have a big, big weekend. Just keep winning. I want to be able to see us at 11-6. Ravens do lose this weekend. We win. We'll jump in the 5th seed. We will play. Potentially, if we keep winning out, we'll be able to keep that 5th seed and be able to play the 4th seeded team, which would be either through the Titans or the Jags. Or if we stay in the 5th seed, we'll either play the Bengals or the Ravens at that point. Actually, could shift a little bit there, but that's kind of where it's sitting at right now. But bottom line, guys, excited we're in the playoffs, excited that we're here, excited to be able to see how this season kind of ends out. But let's stay healthy. Let's get healthy. Let's get better on offense. Keep that defense going, rolling. I'm excited about it, guys. But just want to hear you guys' thoughts on the playoffs. And let's go, guys. Bolt Bros. Let's get out of here, guys. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Peace.